Man, episode 2 was even better than the first episode. I'm like sitting here like, and they closed it out with a Tool song. Just, oh my God. From the opening shots, there's first and foremost, we have the scurry in the foreground, so characters walking through, and all of a sudden you see this something scurry across. And then the next shot, when they're coming around the corner to walk down the hallway, and you just see the tail of the Xenomorph pulling back up to the ceiling above them. Oh my God. This is a gruesome, nasty episode, so you need to be prepared because there were some truly grotesque, alien-esque moments in this one. But strap in. It's time to review episode 2 of Alien Earth. Holy moly. So, um, at the forefront of this, obviously, is our boy Genius, who's the head of Prodigy. And he has this conversation with his. I mean, I don't know exactly if she's his second in command, but she's definitely part of the driving force who's helping, you know, do this experiment with the kids. And this takes me back to, um, I think it was Prometheus, if I remember correctly, when Wayland was, his whole purpose for going on the ship and going into cryo was because he wanted to meet the makers of humanity. He wanted to have this conversation with this godlike entity that he, in his mind, had created and wanted to find out more. And everything about this boy genius is the fact that he wants to he literally says, I want to finally, he says, I want to climb the mountain. I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact terminology, but he's like, I want to climb the mountain and finally have a conversation with somebody who blows my mind for the first time in my life. Because he literally is like, I'm the smartest person on the planet. No one is as smart as I am. I've never been able to have a conversation with someone that is my equal, let alone my better. And I'm hoping that by creating these um, these experiments, these children who I can mold and I can train using the best money can buy with these synthetic brains that they have and these childlike minds that I can mold and adapt. My hope is that either they or the things that they create will be able to achieve something more than what I am. And so there's a lot of hubris here, right? And behind this character and his motivations and his absolute disregard for anything other than his whims. There's also a moment where he has a video call with the head of the Wailing Yutani corporation, and she's basically saying, "Hey, our ship crashed. We'd like to come get our stuff." And he's like, "Not gonna let you." And she's like, "Please, it would be a really good thing." And he's like, "I don't care. That's what our lawyers are for. If you send a team, it'll be an act of aggression, and that's gonna mean war. Talk to my lawyers." And we don't know what they're gonna do yet. Meanwhile, um, we have Timothy Oliphant's synthetic character on site with their kids, man, their kids. And oh my God, there's some really nasty stuff here. The first thing is the dead cat, like, and it's like severed in half, and it comes crawling at one of the kids, and its eye is all weird, and then the eye pops out, and it's like that creepy little squid tentacle creature, and it shoots at one of the kids and robots, and it's trying to like get into her face, and she's like trying to fend it off, and then one of the other kids like grabs a container and like slams it down top of it and then hunkers down. um, and through in all of these sequences, anytime you see the synthetic who is trying to train these kids, essentially these hybrid children, there's a moment where they're walking through the corridor and he says something along the lines of, fear is a human response, you're no longer human, stop being afraid. Yeah, it's Kirsch his name, Timothy Olyphant's character. I have to look it up because I don't really know all the names of these characters yet. He's trying to teach these kids that they are no longer human, that they are better than, which is what he is, and he processes things differently because he's synthetic and they're hybrids, and he's trying to teach them that their human brains need to become like synthetic brains. So um, they're in the ship. There's these weird specimens. It's like a flower thing hanging from the roof, and he looks at it. He's like, "It presents itself as flora, but it might be fauna." Um, but anyway, the kids are scared. They're seeing the bodies all over the ground, and they're seeing these creatures, and they're like, "Monsters!" That's going on, and then while that's going on, we get a true to form xenomorph chase down a hallway sequence as Hermit, the Wendy's brother's character. Hermit is his name in the show. He it gets chased by the xenomorph through these tunnels, and he escapes in the hallways of the ruined apartment building. Um, but there is this sequence where he meets up with one of the other rescue guys, and they're making their way up, and they're knocking on this door of this apartment to tell the people to evacuate. And the people don't want to evacuate, they're having a dinner party, and they slam the door in his face, and he turns around, and behind his soldier buddy is the xenomorph as it unfolds from the statue that it was embraced around in the shadows, and like kills the guy, and in true to form, with the mouth into the guy's face. Then he falls back. There's and the soldier's like puppet on a string as the xenomorph is swinging it around, and his gun is just going off, and the people in the apartment open up the the door to see what's going on, and the xenomorph just like bounds inside and takes everyone out. And Hermit's character is in there, picks up a gun, and he's going to try to defend himself. And as this happens, and as he gets knocked back, and the creature's over him, we get the cyborg security guy shows up and tases the xenomorph until it passes out, which is cool because it lets us know that at the very least you can knock this creature out. Um, and Hermit thinks that he's being rescued, and then the guy tases him, sprays some sort of like a foam on top of the xenomorph to create a bag, and then starts to drag the bag away, but ends up getting interrupted by a couple of security guys who then disrupt the sequence as he's dragging this thing away to keep it contained. And it gets out of the bag, the spray bag, kills the guys, almost kills the cyborg dude, and he's like starts sweating, so he could definitely, I guess he definitely feels fear, even though he's more than human, if that makes sense. But ultimately, the xenomorph gets away and chases off after everybody. And in the middle of all of this, we still have. I think that this is the hardest part. That is. I know it's going to be a very interesting thing to see how they do this, because these these hybrid children are synthetic bodies, but they are children in their minds. And we realize, I think there's something that they show in this episode, which is that Wendy she appears to have special powers, where there's a flashback sequence where we see. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload, or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. Her brother, Herbert, is like applying to like get off of his contract earlier so he can go to school, and because his dad's dead, his sister's dead, or at least he thinks his sister's dead, and he wants to leave his contract and go off, and there's a chance for him to do a scholarship, but he has to leave in a month, and he still has 7 months on his contract left. And it's like a flashback sequence, and she's watching, and she like touches the screen and reaches out and like rewrites the code of the robot that's answering her brother, and she talks through the machine, and Hermit gets all confused because the machine is like repeating a phrase he said as opposed to talking to him about his leave. And then even the boy wonders, like, wait, what did she just do? What's going on? We didn't give her the ability. What's going on? So she appears to have some abilities, like when she's like flicking channels and she can like move images to other screens. That appears to be something that's unique to her. I don't know that the other hybrids can do that. And this is interesting because when they arrive on site, her and Krish's character, is trying to guide them. He's basically telling these kids we're here to do retrieval, and she just like goes off the beaten path, and she's like, I need to rescue my brother, and she's not really listening to him, and he's struggling because he wants to control her, and she's not wanting to listen. But she's cycling through all the cameras, and we have this like suspicious like head of security here who's like, what is she doing? How is she doing that? It's very interesting because she obviously has some special abilities. um, I think that Kirsch's character ultimately he does answer to the boy genius, and whether or not he is truthful. There's a moment here towards the end of the episode where he's trying to explain to these kids. He's like, we need to get these specimens and contain them because if they get out and they breed, it's going to be bad. Um, and I don't know if he's being genuine or if he's just approaching it from like it's bad as in morally bad or it's bad as in it's objectively bad. If do you understand what I mean by that? Like there's the it's bad morally, we don't want to let people die, or it's bad for everybody because if humans die, then we die, and we need to control this so that nobody dies. Like there's a difference between the morally bad and the just bad, generally bad. But he does seem to understand that these things need to be controlled. Ultimately, um, he sends Wendy and this other character. They're all named after the kids from Neverland, from Peter Pan's Adventures, and not gonna remember them all. They're Smee and etc. But he sends Wendy down to the egg room because we do get an egg room. There's like half a dozen eggs in a circle, and she gets down there, and along the way she gets revealed. She reveals herself to her brother that she is his sister. He doesn't believe her at first. It's complicated. It's cool when it happens, and he realizes that it is his dead sister, and they embrace, and she brings him down with her to the egg room, and the xenomorph is back and attacks her brother, and like off into the void they go, and then she tells the other synthetic, stay here, guard the eggs, and then she dives off after her brother and the xenomorph while the Tool song starts playing. And I'm sitting here going, please, please, please have this be a thing where every single episode is going to end with a badass like track of music that takes us into the credit sequences because dude, I'm hooked. I gotta wait. And this is what it's every week we're gonna get episodes. So we're not gonna be able to binge this. There's only what 8 episodes I think is what it's showing me. I was hoping for 10, but it looks like we're gonna get 8 episodes, and we have to wait until next week now to get the next one. And I'm just like, no, I want more. Let me know your thoughts. Drop them down below. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Daily streams at 4:30 a.m. on YouTube and Twitch, and I watch a lot of shows, play a lot of games, and do a lot of movies as well.